Go Green for a Healthy Environment webinar. Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Department of Food and Nutrition. Presentation Overview. This presentation will be discussing about going green for a healthy environment, touching bases about what is a healthy environment and the current environmental issues. Today's goal is to share this wonderful information so that we could put it into practice in our daily life. Environment Overview. Life in Miami. Why we should care about the environment. Current environmental issues. Global warming, food waste, the plastic problem. What is a healthy environment? Sustainability. Life in Miami. As you may see on the lively pictures, this is a perfect representation of the wonderful things Miami offers to the residents and tourists. We live in a fabulous place full of opportunity. We have the Everglades and wildlife, Florida Keys and coral reefs, beaches, clean drinking water, mangoes and other tropical fruits. For these reasons, Miami is a tourist destination for people around the world. Because of our location, people from South America and the Caribbean have migrated here and brought their diverse, rich cultures with them. Thanks to these cultures, we have cafecitos, Haitian food and dance, and much, much more. Most of us have either come from another place or have family that came from another place and settled here for all of these reasons. But as you all know, life in Miami also has its drawbacks: hurricanes, flooding, heat, no real seasons, mosquitoes, traffic, and lack of public transportation. Although we face different challenges every day, we must try to see the positive side to move forward and meet our goals. Why should we care about the environment? One of the obvious reasons is that the earth and the natural environment are beautiful, so we should keep it that way. Many of us have had special interactions with our environment that have shaped who we are. For instance, maybe as a child you ate fresh food from your backyard garden or farm. Or maybe you've had the chance to go fishing in clean waters and run through the woods. We all have access to clean drinking water and clean air, which is incredible. In other parts of the world, people don't have these basic privileges, as some of you may know. The environment provides us with all of these wonderful resources that we need to survive. But we need to take care of it if we want our children to have the same opportunities as us. This is the core idea of sustainability, which we will discuss later on. This pyramid diagram is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is a motivational theory in psychology that shows that the needs lower down on the pyramid must be satisfied before individuals can attend to needs higher up. Down on the bottom are our basic needs like food, water, and safety. In the middle is our need for friendships and love. At the top of the pyramid is self-esteem and self-actualization, which is where we achieve our full potential, feelings of accomplishment, and really grow. Current environmental issues. Before we discuss ways to keep our environment healthy, we will investigate some of the current environmental issues in our world and in Miami that are affecting our basic needs as humans. We will discuss the truth and how this is not just a trend, it is a reality. Global warming. Global warming is the gradual rise of the Earth's surface temperatures, which is largely caused by human-made greenhouse gas emissions. First of all, what are greenhouse gases? These are harmful gases released by the cars that we drive, the factories that make our clothes, power plants that provides us with electricity, and even by all the cows that are raised for meat. As you may see in the infographic, it shows the percentages from where do greenhouse gas emissions come from. This is a graph created by leading climatologists at NASA, and they've discovered that for 650,000 years, atmospheric carbon dioxide, which is a major greenhouse gas, has never been above this dotted line until the 1950s. What happened in the 1950s besides population increase? Industrialization, cars, more factories, and more Americans shopping than ever. Ever since then, it has been on the rise. And as we saw in the previous slide, this can create dangerous temperature changes on Earth. Earth's two major carbon sinks. The Earth has a natural way of regulating greenhouse gas levels, and that is with carbon sinks, or things that absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. As you can see, we have two pictures that represent Earth's major carbon sinks. But there is a problem. Our ocean is absorbing all of this carbon dioxide we are releasing into the atmosphere, and carbon dioxide loves to trap heat. So now our ocean is warming up. Coral reefs are living organisms that act as the ocean's nursery, where most of the baby fish are born and raised. Coral is super delicate, and slight changes in temperature will seriously harm them. If our corals die, the fish that we eat will also suffer. Our other carbon sink, forests, are being cut down more and more every year. Many people don't fully understand the value of a forest. First of all, many of these forests are thousands of years old, and after we cut them down, then take hundreds of years to grow back. A forest is full of life and function. Forest cleans the air, collects rainwater and store it in the ground. And we need them to regulate our carbon dioxide levels. They are beautiful places to visit too. So we have converted much of this land to housing developments and croplands instead. Of course, we need to continue growing food, but what was shocking to me was the most of the land used to grow food is actually food for animals like cows. It takes a lot more space, water, and resources to feed cows than to actually feed humans. According to the Environmental Protection Agency of the United States, methane is a potent greenhouse gas 28 to 36 times more effective than carbon dioxide at trapping heat in the atmosphere. Effects of global warming. Already around the world, people are experiencing the effects of global warming, including more intense heat waves, droughts, wildfires, crop failures, hurricanes, and flooding. Flooding is caused by the rising sea level, and it will impact coastal cities including Miami, which we will discuss in the next few slides. As you can see in this slide, the pictures give us a representation of the global warming impacts on Earth, such as heavier precipitation, rising seas and increased floodings, longer and more damaging wildfire seasons, more severe droughts in some areas, more destructive hurricanes, more frequent and intense heat waves, an increase in extreme weather events, destruction of marine ecosystems, and plant and animal range shifts. Melting ice has to go somewhere. Global warming has caused massive ice sheets, which can be the size of a continent, to shrink and retreat. All of this melting ice has to go somewhere, and unfortunately it flows into the ocean and causes our sea level to rise every year. It is shocking that the Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets have decreased in mass. Glaciers are retreating almost everywhere around the world, including in the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Rising sea levels directly impact Miami residents. What will the new Miami look like? Here is a satellite image from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA. It shows us how Miami currently looks and how it would look if the sea level were to rise by 4 feet. Let's keep in mind that this already happens during some of our hurricanes. But if it were to become a permanent change, all of the people in the light blue highlighted areas will be displaced from their homes due to flooding. If you live outside of flood zones, that will be beneficial, of course. But it is certain that all Miami communities, whether coastal or inland, will be impacted economically, socially, and environmentally by the relocation and migration of people who leave flood zones. Because this may become a real issue, it's worth preparing and taking preventative measures now to minimize the impact it has on our communities. If you want to learn more about what the City of Miami government is doing to prepare us for sea level rise, you can visit the Climate Ready Miami website at miamigov.com. They host committee meetings that are open to the public. Food waste. Food waste in the U.S. is excessive and expensive. 40% of all food produced in the U.S. is wasted. 133 billion pounds food wasted per year. Uneaten food at retailers, restaurants, and homes cost 161 billion annually. It's environmentally harmful. Food makes up 20% of landfill weight, the single largest municipal waste source. The methane released by food is a greenhouse gas 21 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. However, food waste can be composted into sustainable soil additives or be used to generate electricity. By encouraging institutions to purchase so-called ugly produce will help farmers find new markets for healthy products that currently go to waste. We need to work on this because our population is rising, and as we discussed earlier, global warming will impact farmers. We need to be saving as much food as we can and changing these food waste habits. Why does the dumpster have to be the fate of so much of our food? There are a few reasons. One is consumer behavior. Have you noticed in the grocery store that the so-called ugly vegetables are always the last on the shelf? Americans expect their fruits and vegetables to look perfect, but the reality is that an apple with a few spots will taste the same as a perfectly round apple. For this reason, farmers and distributors are forced to throw out any vegetables that do not fit into this perfect image. The plastic problem. It just won't go away. It can take over 1,000 years for plastics to decompose. Drink companies alone produce over 500 billion single-use plastic bottles annually. Up to 12.7 million tons of plastic enters the ocean every year. Facts from Greenpeace. The pictures shows how plastic ends up in our oceans and our forests when not properly discarded. How can we make better choices? We need to change our shopping habits so we don't end up with those mountains of plastic we saw. How can we make better choices as consumers? We have options. Reuse containers for storing leftovers or shopping in bulk. Purchase food like cereal, pasta, and rice from bulk bins and fill a reusable bag or container. Avoiding unnecessary packaging on products that are assembled in plastic and styrofoam trays at the grocery store. What is a healthy environment? A healthy environment has harmony. Nature is an expert at creating harmony, and that's probably why it is so relaxing and pleasant to be around. Nothing in a forest gets wasted. Trees grow and produce food. Animals eat the food, creating a cycle. It forms a beautiful closed loop where very little gets wasted. A healthy environment for humans should aim to mimic the harmony in a forest. Maybe our relatives long ago once know about this harmony, but it is time to bring it back. We need to grow our food in a healthy way, produce clean energy that doesn't pollute our air, and figure out a way to use all of our waste. Sustainability. Sustainability is to create and maintain the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony to support present and future generations. This term can be applied to all aspects of our lives, from food to your job to your home, helping us assess how balanced we are and which areas of our lives needs more attention. This diagram illustrates the three core pieces of sustainability, which are the environment, the economy, and society. A balance of the three create harmony. Let's go over a recap of the topics discussed during this presentation. Remember, we talked about the pros and cons of living in Miami. What is global warming and the effects in the environment? Earth's two carbon sinks, oceans and forests. Food waste issue and the options we have when grocery shopping. Regarding the plastic issue and the core idea of sustainability. Remember, we can all work together and contribute positively to our planet by making small changes and thus leave a healthy home for future generations. Thank you for attending this webinar and for your time. I hope you found this information useful.